Hi, I'm Jeff Clark Jr., and this is Art and Underdogs. Today I'm joined by actress, TV personality, designer Yvette Irene. Yvette's hosted shows on networks like HGTV, Food Network, and Magnolia, formerly DIY. More recently, Yvette and I were in an indie horror film together called Dating Horror Stories, written and directed by Joshua Nelson. Here's a short clip.
Well, my ex-husband was in the mob.
Oh. Wait, he's not the jealous type or anything, is he?
Oh my God, he would have had you crippled if he even knew you were talking to me. But he got shot 12 times, so you don't have to worry anymore.
Oh. Well, that's good.
Okay, so he was a button man, like a hitman. Go kill people, cut up the bodies in the bathroom. Well, one day Rocco got a taste, and he loved it. So we started grinding up the bodies and other stuff in my meat grinder, and Rocco ate like there was no tomorrow. But ever since Big Vinny's died, my little man won't eat anymore. This is never going to work between us.
What?
You're laughing at me. I am in pain and Rocco is suffering.
Yvette, what's up? Thanks for being here.
Hey, Jeff. How's it going?
Pretty good.
Great to be here. Thank you for having me on. It's so exciting.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Seriously. Thank you for doing it. So I just showed a clip of a scene from Dating Horror Stories. Can you tell everyone just a little bit about the film and your character?
Dating Horror Stories kind of sums it up. So I played Tina, a widow of a mob boss who is a hitman. And Tina is completely obsessed with her dog because Rocco, played by Paulie Maximilian. I don't know if you saw the review. They said he played Rocco brilliantly. No mention of us, by the way, but Paulie Maximilian played him brilliantly. But anyway, so basically my husband was a hitman, so he used to murder people and bring them home and chop them up in the bathtub. And one day, my finicky little prince, Rocco, got a taste of human flesh and loved it. So that's what we fed him. We would grind up bodies and in the meat grinder, and that's what Rocco got accustomed to eating. And then when my husband died, and now I'm Tina widow, I had to find someone that would kill so that my little baby boy would eat.
Yeah. That's disgusting.
My mother couldn't watch it. She's like, I don't want to see my grand dog looking that way.
Grand dog. So I have a question about that.
So you were the lucky one that got to kill for me.
Yeah.
It was.
No, it was a hell of a.
It was
fun.
It was great. It's always great working with you because you're so talented and fun, and you're really good.
You too. Thank you. So did you say, hey, Josh, can you write Paulie into a film, or did Josh think it up?
Well, I was slated to play in one of Josh's movies, right? So he said to me, I'm working on something that's perfect. It's about, it's a horror film because, and I love Josh and I respect it, but I've never thought of myself as really like a horror film person. Like that's the roles that I would want to play. I never thought of that. Like I'm not really into like zombies and like gore. It's just not my thing, right? And I know that a lot of famous people started that way, but it just was not where I ever saw myself. So when Josh was like, I have a role for you in a film, he's like, it's horror, but it's based on being obsessed with your dog, and we know you could do that. And I was like, perfect, because Paulie's come to school. Yeah. He's come to the classes. He's hung out with us. Yeah, so he knows that I'm the crazy dog mom. So it was not a hard role to play.
That's
Ridiculous.
you really threw yourself into that role. Let me tell you.
So ridiculous. And Paulie, I'm
So-
telling you, when I see these
Yeah.
reviews that mention him, it kills me. He doesn't even try,
Yeah,
Jeff.
pretty
He doesn't
funny.
even try. Like, played brilliantly
Yeah, I know.
by Paulie Maximilian. They even used his full name.
Yeah. Now he's a cute dog. He's a good dog.
Thanks. He really liked you.
So what would you're saying you're playing yourself, sorta. Did you do anything to prepare for that role?
I did. I channeled my Carmela. A lot of people tell me I remind them of Carmela Soprano, which is like,
Okay.
or I don't know. I guess that's okay.
I can kind of see it. Okay.
I'm a Jersey girl. I talk with my hands, if you can't tell.
Yeah.
I guess the way I talk.
A little loud? No, I'm just kidding.
A little loud, a little crazy.
No, I'm just kidding.
I am. And so I I think I just channeled my old Guidette self from back in the day, and being a Jersey girl, and my hair wasn't as big, but that's pretty much how I prepared. I always like to understand the character and who she was, and being obsessed with my dog for real. It was very easy.
How do you channel Carmela? That's Carmela Soprano, right? That's what you said. How do you channel that though? Like, do you just watch a lot of Sopranos? You eat a lot of pasta? Like, what do you do? What do you do to channel that?
All of the above. I think it's just my personality. I think I grew up in a town in New Jersey I'm not Italian. I'm Slovakian, actually. My family's Slovakian.
Okay.
But I grew up amongst everyone was Italian in my town. So I think it was just like very easy for me to, understand that culture. I mean,
Okay.
it's a thing, right? Like mafia in Jersey is like a thing. I mean, it really was. So
definitely North Jersey.
Yeah. So I think it was just like, it was just fun to kind of go back and just understand, the way she talks, it's the way she dresses, it's the way she carries herself. It's, the slapping of the gum in the one scene.
True. Yeah, that's true.
It's like, babe.
I was like, hey, Yvette, all right. No, I'm just kidding. What was your favorite? No, it was fun. I had a blast.
It was fun.
What was your favorite part of playing that role? Like of the film, playing that role. What was your favorite part that you remember?
I think one of my favorite parts. I think there were two. Could I have two?
Sure. You have three.
I can. I'll go with two. I really liked when you came over, like the part, when you first come by, our first date, I guess. And, I'm with Paulie and I'm just chatting him up and sitting outside, like making him, don't worry, you're always going to be number one. And then just kind of the way you came in and we sat, and, it was kind of interesting because it was like, I had to start my manipulation of your character, and, and then it's like cutting to tell, you're complimenting me and my character, right? That you had a crush on me basically. And I'm like, oh, you're so handsome. And you're like, really? And then they cut to Paulie, and Paulie's sitting there like, ding, ding. So I thought that was really fun. I thought it was well done. I thought it was fun to play that. How it's like when you first meet somebody, the first date, but there was like an ulterior motive. So I think that was fun for me. And then I really liked the end. I thought you really were amazing at the part where we're sitting on the couch right before you yourself.
Yeah.
Where you were very like, I was still manipulating. It was like, I really had I really didn't care about you. Clearly it was about what you could do for me, but you were so good. And I think it was so fun to play off your energy because you were like teary eyed and like, just, I really liked that ending. I mean, I thought that was, sorry. I mean, not that you offed yourself so my dog could eat you, but not to give away too much, but
come on, Josh Nelson writing this stuff.
But you were really good. I think it was really believable, and I think it was.
Yeah, thanks. You too. You played like if your character was a song, it would be Hall & Oates Man Eater. Like You were like straight up cold hearted, man. I was like, dang, my poor character, Daniel. Like somebody get this dude a chance, man. This dude is desperate.
It was like the nicer you were, the more I was like, just kill more. Just
Yeah.
my dog's hungry, okay?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it
Now
was.
you played that. You played that very well.
Thank you
did.
so much. It was
Yeah.
so fun. It was really fun. It was fun. It's always fun to work, to work with you, and I think everyone in the cast was just
Nice.
really fun and great. And Josh is awesome.
Yeah.
So
It was definitely fun.
yeah.
Have you ever thought about writing or directing anything like that? Like, if it maybe not horror films, but have you tried to write anything, stories or?
I do in my mind, with everything else I want to do, but I do have an idea for to do a short. I don't know if it'd be a short. I almost feel like the story that I would like to tell would be more of a Netflix series, to be honest, because I
Okay.
think it would have. I think it'd be like one of those every week. You'd be like, no, I can't believe that ended that way, and then you wait for the next week. You know what I mean? So
Cliffhangers.
yeah, cliffhangers. I think there's a lot that
Yeah.
you like. It's like you can't make this up. So I would like to do that, but I don't really know how you do that. I mean, I guess you just sit down and write. I journal a lot,
That's
right?
it. Okay.
I
Yeah, that's a
journal a
start.
lot. So
Yeah,
I
a good
think I
start.
have to do the breakdown though. I think is where I would need to spend some time really figuring out like how it would open and the scenes and the shots and all that
Yeah.
stuff. But directing would be
Okay.
fun too.
Yeah. I could see you directing.
You could?
Yeah, I could see you directing.
That's so nice.
Writing is takes a lot of patience. Like you have to sit down and like, get up and get away from it for a little bit and come back to it. Like when you run out of ideas or you're trying to find out the next turn or a certain character or whatever, it just takes patience and it takes time. Whereas directing is, I can see you bossing people around a lot. No, I'm just kidding. But
Thanks, Jeff.
I'm joking. Directing is a
But
little
I
more.
could. But you're
But
not wrong.
directing, so you kind of direct. I know what you do for a living. We'll talk about that in a second. But as like a designer, as like a business owner, you kind of direct every day. I can see you directing actors. You know?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I can totally see that.
That would be fun. I think
Yeah.
that would be really fun. I would like that actually. You're giving me something else to think about and to add to my to-do list of my
Yeah.
career journey. But I think it's really interesting. I mean, I know you've written and directed and you've
Yeah.
won a bunch of awards for what you've created, which is really awesome. I mean, it takes a long time I think writing,
Yeah.
it's to me I it's like I have so much in my head and I could talk, as you could tell, for hours, but
Yeah.
but I think it's just the fact of actually sitting down, and
Yeah, it's a different process.
it's a
Yeah.
bit grueling, I think.
Yeah, it can be. It can be. But it's also fun. Like once it's finally finished and you see your ideas come to life and you're like, all right, now we got to make this.
Yeah.
But once it's
Right?
finally done, it's actually rewarding. Once your story, you're happy with it. You're like, it's
That's
rewarding
awesome.
to take the next step into casting and pre-production and everything.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It's fun. I'm sure you had a blast doing it.
Yeah. The casting is probably the most difficult part because there's so many good actors out there. It's hard to like pick somebody for the role, but you find people who match each other, you do like chemistry reads, but anyway. Yeah, it's definitely the casting was the hardest for me. Who knows? Yvette Irene, the director. You never know.
I like the sound of that, Jeff.
Are you working on any films right now?
I
As far as like, have you been cast at anything, or are you just auditioning, or?
Yeah, I also do like hosting, so like so I'm working right now on putting together my assets from all of my hosting gigs
Mm-hmm.
and then doing an acting reel too. So I'm going to start I need to get that all updated, and then I'm going to really start auditioning
Okay.
hard for that. And I'm working with a team right now, basically for rebranding my business and my business model. So that's all in the works, and we have some
Okay.
meetings set up and different things. So it's fun. It's exciting. It's
All
an
right.
exciting
Cool.
time. Thank you.
So let's go into the underdog story segment. Well, I just want to get to know you a little bit better, and then we'll kind of ease into a story you might have
Okay.
for the people.
Sure.
So just to start off, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Clark, New Jersey.
Okay. Hey. All right, Clark.
Exit
I know
135.
that guy.
Exit right. Exit 135.
On the Garden State Parkway, right?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. What was it like there growing up? It's like a suburbs or
Yeah, it was very small. I mean, not a movie theater, like one grocery store. It was really kind of strange because it was, I think at the time, I don't know why I remember facts like this. I think there was only like 17,000 people that lived in that town, right? But I was like 23 miles from New York City. So it was like I grew up in this really safe, small little town. But I would train into New York. I mean, I started going into the city very young for design courses and stuff. But I would, you know, you'd get on a train from Linden, Westfield, anywhere, and you'd be in the city in like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, something like that. So it was the best of both worlds. It was really great.
nice. So what were you like growing up or in high school? Like coming up through like middle school, high school. What were you like? Were you into any clubs or
I was a big soccer player.
really?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. So I played for my school. I was on the traveling team,
nice.
and I played for my town. Yeah, thanks. It was really fun. I was slightly obsessed with soccer.
Do you still play just for staying
Mm,
in shape and all that?
No, I would. I played into my adult years. I did, but now, truth be told, as you get older, like I can't afford to get hurt. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
soccer is kind of a rough sport. It is. I mean, I love it, but if you're,
yeah.
I'm not 18 anymore.
I hear. Look, I hear that. I hear that. It's funny. Uh, like I, it's like lifting weights, whatever. I injured myself recently,
Oh
and
no.
my daughter today was like, "Hey, let's go to the trampoline park." I'm like, like, yo, I'm not a young buck anymore, because like for a living, I kind of I'm at a computer most of the time. It's
Yeah.
like I work out as much as I possibly
Yeah.
can at home, and I'm like, all right, you know what? Like, I'll take you. Let's try it. And I got there and I was like, yo, I was there for like maybe half hour and I was like so out of I was like, yo, like the
Wow.
jumping is a workout and trying to keep up with this kid. It's like she's
And
like
she
jumping all over the place. I'm like, wait up, yo, wait up, where you going? Like jumping on this damn can you picture me jumping on the trampoline for 30 minutes? Like it's like
no. No, I
but
can't.
the things we do for our kids,
That's right. You're an awesome dad,
But
and that's great. And she'll always remember
but
moments like that. But to think, I think that's what's so crazy, right? To think you were
yeah.
that kid. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
when we were young like that, it was just like all the energy I mean, I was on 3 soccer teams that like I would play. I'm saying all these at this like simultaneously. I just go from practice to practice to practice and game to game to game. And I also did
Yeah.
gymnastics too. I was a gymnast, so I did
Oh wow.
gymnastics as well, and I was in a
Interesting.
team for
Cool.
that. Yeah, so it was really fun. So I was really active, but now it's like,
Work, 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 work.
yeah, I just work all the time.
It's
I call
it's
myself
hard,
a
yeah.
mule because I travel so much for work and I'm always carrying so many things. So I feel like
Right,
that
right.
has to count for something, right?
Yeah. Not here. I was an athlete and growing up too. Wrestling and football.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, wrestling and football. And yeah, I
I
can't do
could see
football.
that. What
Can't
position
do it.
did you play as a football player?
I jumped around a little bit, but mostly running back.
Oh, okay.
Um, that was like my favorite position.
Okay.
But yeah, I played a little tailback, fullback, and
That's
then I
awesome.
in high school I jumped around. Our town had like really talented football players, so it was hard to get a starting position. So they kind of moved me around because I was very fast. Um, but they moved me around to like cornerback. I was way too short for cornerback, but they put me there. Got a couple interceptions.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, I was athletic. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? But there were really talented kids in our high school team. Yeah. But wrestling was by probably my favorite
that's
out
fun.
of the two. Yeah.
Did
Um,
you did you watch the fight the other night?
I watched. I tried to watch the Tyson fight,
Yeah,
but
that's what I mean. Yeah, did you
the
watch it?
stream, the Netflix stream, was like messing up.
I heard that. I
Yeah.
heard that.
And I was like, all right, I'm going to bed. Forget this. So I just gave up and watched it the next day. I was like, I'm not staying up for this crap.
I mean, I know that's boxing, not wrestling, but I'm saying
yeah.
So like,
no, but I watch UFC. John Jones. I just watched him beat Stipe Miocic, something like that. But yeah, I watch UFC. You watch UFC? You watch MMA?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I like that. I like boxing, fighting, MMA
for
stuff.
Sure. Absolutely, absolutely.
Channel. That's how I channel my Carmela Soprano.
Watching dudes beat each other to death.
Yeah. Get him.
What type of jobs did you have growing up?
Well, my first job was 14 years old, and I was a cashier for A&P supermarket with a really ugly orange and red polyester smock button up.
What's a smock? What the hell's a smock?
It's like, you know,
I really don't know.
It's like something you put on to protect yourself.
Is that like a poncho? What is that? What is a smock?
No. It's like, you know, in art class growing up, you had to put like a thing over yourself so you didn't.
Okay.
No, you didn't.
So it's sort of like a poncho, like an apron?
Kind of like an apron, but it's like it either goes over your head and then like usually there's like little pockets.
We'll put the definition down here in the lower third of what a smock is.
Does anyone out there know what a smock is, or am I really dating myself?
What the hell is a smock? That's not schmuck, right? You're not mixing that with schmuck?
No.
Okay. I don't know.
I mean, I do know a lot of those, but
oh man, that's funny. Did you like that job? Did you like the cashier job? It was probably easy for you.
I was 14. I made $4.25 an hour.
Well, damn. My first job, I made $5.25, I think.
What'd you do?
I kind of did some odd jobs for a truck stop in Paulsboro called TA, Travel Centers of America.
Oh.
And I was 15 and I did I had like odd jobs before that, but this is like my first official job on government, like paying taxes and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like cleaning like the parking lot up, like all the trash and stuff. It was kind of like an outdoor janitor in a way. It was weird.
Oh wow.
No, it's not wild. It's pretty bad.
Well, but
no, it was such a. They had this swamp. I don't know what. It wasn't a swamp. It was like this. It's like this pit, and all the crap went down to the pit, and like it overgrew with weeds. So I would have to climb down this pit, and pull all these weeds out of this pit. I don't know if it was like the runoff rainwater or what, but it was like it was nasty.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. And then after that, I leveled up to cleaning trucker showers at the truck stop. Yeah. I had some pretty nasty jobs.
Yeah, but you know, it's like but it's all humble. But it's all humbling, right? I mean, it all like I think it gives you like the grind later in life doing stuff like that. You know,
builds character. You know,
it does. It does, Chad.
Oh, too funny. So yeah, that's funny. So that was you were a cashier at the A&P. You said. Did you?
Yeah, and then
what else?
That was my first job, and then no, I hated it because my boss was really mean. And I didn't like him at all. So I did that, and then I did some babysitting, and then I went and worked. When I was 16, I went to Macy's. I worked at Macy's.
Oh,
in the costume jewelry department.
And so you're into fashion and stuff, right?
Oh yeah.
So you kind of like that job then?
Yeah, I did. And actually, I met one of my closest friends that we're still friends to this day there. She was my boss at the time.
Oh, wow.
And she was 2 years older than me, so she was going to FIT. She was already at FIT for school, and I was applying. I wanted to be, you know, and ultimately I did go to FIT, but I started going to FIT when I was 13 years old. I would schlep into, I would take Saturday live classes in summer. They would have Saturday live, they would call it, in summer classes. So I would train in with there was like 2 other of my friends that were like creatives, and we would take, I took college courses, no credit, to immerse myself into the design world. And I did all types of different courses. So it was really good for building my portfolio and kind of figuring things out. But yeah, so when I worked at Macy's, it was pretty cool because it was, you know, fashion related.
Wow.
It was jewelry. Yeah.
That set it all up. That was actually a good segue into my next question. I was going to ask you, what was your major?
Accessory design. So I made handbags, belts, and shoes. That's what my degree is in.
Okay.
But it's kind of interesting because I wanted to go to FIT for a 4-year degree. So I actually wanted to get a degree in fashion design. And then through the years of building my portfolio, you would have like, you would do a sit down with like a counselor as to what you should do to like, you know, for your portfolio. So when you apply, because it's not just grade based at schools like that, it's, you have to have talent. You have to show a portfolio of work, right? So
absolutely.
So when I was sitting down with the counselor, I guess, I don't know what that term is called. What is that called? Pre-admissions counselor or whatever. It's before you get in. Mm-hmm. She's like, I was like all excited because I would do all these little sketches and I love fashion. I was always into fashion. And she was like, you know, fashion design is 90% sewing. I'm like, what? I have no patience. Like, you mean I can't just like draw it and like, you know, young kid thinking. So she's like, no. She's like, you have to understand garment construction. You have to understand how to make things. You have to draping. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, sewing. Because I have no patience. I still have no patience. when God like gave the DNA with the patience, mine got lost.
He left it out.
He left mine out. Got none. Okay. So I remember having to do these like projects sewing. I would go nuts. Like I just can't. Yeah. I can't. So I was like sewing. I was like 90% sewing. There's no way. So like there were only 30 students and I'm telling you, like, again, it's been a million years, but let's just say it was like 95% of us. We had to do an internship at the fourth quarter of our second semester, and 95% of us got offered full-time jobs. So we were so young. So like we're like 19 years old. We're getting offered full-time jobs in New York City as a designer.
That's awesome.
It was really cool. I got offered a job too, but my mom and dad were always like, they really wanted me to have my 4-year degree and I wanted it too. Yeah. So I didn't take the job. But what happened was then FIT made the program a 2-year program because there weren't enough students to make it a 4-year. So I have an associate's degree in accessory design. And then they said if I wanted to go and get my bachelor's from FIT, I would have to go into fabric styling. What is that? I'm like, what? What am I doing with that? What am I doing with that? So I was like, so I had to scramble again, 5 minutes to go. So I applied at Rutgers College and I applied at a couple of others, but I went to Rutgers College. I graduated from there and I have a degree. Okay. I have a bachelor's degree from Rutgers, visual arts, concentration graphic design.
Wow. Good for you. That's
Thanks,
awesome.
Steph. Thank you.
That's awesome.
Thank you so much. It was a tough transfer though. I'm not going to lie, because usually when you go in with an associate's degree already, they accept it. I remember, I'll never forget this. I went to the registrar's office at Rutgers College. They only accept, so when you graduate from FIT at the time, now this was a million years ago, it's 72 and a half credits. When I transferred to Rutgers they only accepted 22 of those 72 and a half credits. I went to school for 2.5 years straight during summers, winters, everything, just so that I would graduate. I was only 6 months not behind, but it was extending my time because they didn't take all my credits.
Yeah. I think that's pretty common though. I did the same thing. I went to this place called Salem Community College because my grades sucked. And I didn't want to wrestle. I could have got a wrestling scholarship, but I didn't want to wrestle in college. I was done wrestling. And I tried to transfer my credits to, like I said, my grades sucked. So I tried to transfer my credits to the Art Institute in Philly. And they only took certain ones. They said, you have to retake some of these, like, English and stuff like that. Like, classes I don't give a shit about.
Right.
But yeah, I think that's pretty common though.
I don't think it's right, but it's probably about money too.
It's exactly. It's all business. It's a business.
Financial. Yeah.
Education is a business, unfortunately.
It is.
But I was gonna say I did the same exact thing you did. Like I would go. We called them quarters. I would go to the quarters during the summer too, because they offer quarters in the summer when most kids would go home to their families and take a summer off. I would go every summer so I could graduate like in 3 years.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Right? Because I didn't want to be doing this forever. Yeah. I just was so mad because I thought I was just going to be 4 years done. So I just, I did 2 and I did 2.5. I got out. Yeah. That's great. It's so funny you did that too.
Well, I did it because of a different reason. I didn't have any home. So I didn't like have parents that I could go back to. So I was like living in the dorms in the city in Philly. And I was like, well, what else am I going to do? I can't go anywhere. I can't like go home for summer or whatever. And I could have went to my godparents, but they had their own kids and stuff. And I was like, I'm just going to gut it out. I'm just going to go all summer, or for the summer courses they allowed. I think it was like half the summer. And so that's what I did. I just like, I'm just going to stay in the dorms and go. And it was nice though, because not the same amount of people went in summer that went into like the rest of the year, because all the kids took off summer. So it was like it was a little more quiet, and there were more computers free for like design and animation and stuff. So it actually was a good decision to do that. To graduate earlier.
That's awesome, Jeff.
Yeah, it was.
That's really great. That's awesome that you did that. Yeah, it's impressive, really, that you did all that. That's awesome.
Thank you.
And you're a creative too.
Yeah. We're very similar.
Yeah, I mean,
we're very similar in that.
Right?
We're both designers, just different industries.
Yeah, but design, right? It is, but it's like I always think design's design and creative. You know what I mean? I think that's probably why. Don't you think that's why a lot of celebrity actors, let's say, pivot into different things? Like they design clothes, or they design, they go into cooking, or they do something that's. Because I think if you're a creative, I think you're a creative.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think you could just reinvent yourself or pivot and write a book, write a movie, come up like.
We like to dabble in different things, I think, as creatives.
Yeah, we do.
You don't want to just be, bound to one outlet as a creative person. You want to try different things.
It's so stifling to me. Yeah. I just couldn't, But then it's also like it's a blessing and a curse, right? Because sometimes I exhaust myself because my brain has like so many things I want to accomplish and do, and there's just like only one me and not enough time,
Yeah. I was talking to someone about that too. Another designer, he was like, "Dude, I wish I had 5 of me so I can play my music and draw." And like another guy will design and animate. Another guy, it's like you wish you had more people, more of you to like do things that you want to do. But hey. You only got so much time on this earth. You got to just pick, right? You got to pick and do
That's
it.
Right. That's right. Got to make it count.
So you've been, I love your story. That's pretty cool. And then,
thank you.
At what point, like how long was it after like graduation and all that stuff? Did you become a TV host on these networks? Like, how did you get into that? Did you start your business first, and then get into that, or did you start hosting and then start your business? How did that work?
Well, I swore I would never leave New York. And when you never say never, it always comes back and bites you, right? And so, of course, I wound up leaving New York. I had gotten married. I'm divorced now, but I wound up getting married young. And my husband was 4 years older than me. So when I was graduating college, he was already out there working, doing his thing. So we wound up moving to the Virginia Beach area for some time because, that's where his career, like he could take his career anywhere. He loved the beach, he loved the water, so on and so forth. So that's where he went. And me being young, and when you're young, you're just like, I could be a designer anywhere. I got this. I don't need New York. Okay, I could, right. Okay. But I did. I mean, ironically, I did. It was actually really good for my career, but it's not the Mecca that, of course, New York City is. And but when you're young, you don't think that you're like, oh, there's got to be design everywhere. So it took us down there, and I started working. I had a couple things. I worked as a product development. I did product development and design for 2 major manufacturers, and our clients were Neiman Marcus, Bloomingdale's, Horchow.
Wow.
We would do Macy's, we would do Target. I mean, so we would do like low to low to high end. So I would meet with the buyers for like Neiman Marcus. They would come in, we'd meet with them, and then I would develop like a bedding program, a pillow program, holiday, and I would do all of that. We did textile design. And then we would have it manufactured overseas. One company was located in India. The other one was their manufacturing is in India, and the other one was in China. So it was an amazing experience because we had the showrooms in New York City. So that's where I would get my pulse back, and I would go up to the city and I would be in the showrooms and I'd style them. And that's where I got the interior vibe part, I always did my own house, but I mean, that's where I was learning to really style and coordinate rooms and stuff like that. And then I wound up going to work for a surf company while I was down there. And I was a designer for menswear. So I designed menswear, surfing clothes. And
is that where you got that surfboard behind you?
No. Do you like it?
Yeah.
It's just a prop. It's just for decor. We can't use it. But no, it's so interesting. They used to all joke me because, I was straight from Jersey and, just a different energy in terms of like really fast, blah, 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 like crazy. And I never, because I would design surf like streetwear, like jeans and fleece, and they also were big into snowboarding. It was a really great surfing company. I mean, they had a great presence. They had international market and buyers, and they were sold all over the world, which was really cool. But like, I'd be there. I'm not a surfer. Like, I don't surf. I don't even go in the ocean unless I can see the bottom. Because I always feel like I get bit by a crab or I have seaweed wraps around my feet. It scares me. I can't do it, right? So if there was like waves, if the waves were great, they would all go take a surf break. Can you imagine? They would shut down this company to take a surf break. And I was like literally a fish out of water because I'm like sitting there like, okay, what do I do? I guess I'll keep working. Yeah. But anyway. But it was cool. It was a great experience. Again, I was up in New York. I was dealing with buying like fabrics, dealing with the mills.
Yeah.
And then I always wanted to come back to New York. So after 2 years, I wanted to come back to New York. My husband at the time said no. After 5 years, I said, I'm going back. He's like, no. So we agreed upon Washington, D.C., only being there once. So we went to D.C. because it was closer to New York. And I wanted to start my own business. My goal was I always wanted to start my own business, always. But I was like, I'm going to do this before I turn 30 years old. I'm going to start my own brand and my own business. Because since I was 13 years old, I wanted to be a designer, be a household name, build a brand.
Nice.
Be like Martha Stewart, really.
She's
go. Like a mentor.
Let's go.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. So that was always my goal. That's what I wanted to do. So I opened my business. Literally one day after September 11th in 2001. Worst time in American history. My real estate agent told me I was nuts. What are you doing? Why would you sign this? Are you watching the news? I'm like, okay, failure's not an option. Yeah, I'm watching the news. And here I am. My business just turned 23 years in September 12th.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So it was really cool. I opened my business and I did like my design. So everything was branded. Everything had my name on it. And I had my own seamstresses. I had my own workroom. And I had my own product lines.
This is all out of DC or New York?
DC.
Yeah. So, at what point you started your own business before you started doing these hosting gigs?
Oh, right. So, so let's see. I started my own business before I started doing the hosting gigs. I had done some live morning spots, like I would do on like the CBS affiliate down there, like tips and tricks and. Like, when they come on in the morning. So it was really fun.
How did you get those? You just auditioned or how did that work?
Those came from, actually she was a client of mine that did PR.
Okay.
And she was just like, you'd be great for TV. She's like, I know someone at the network. And I was like, oh, thanks. So I started doing these live spots. It was awesome. And then I was like a regular, on there.
Yeah.
I would they call me every couple of months and it was really fun. So I was on CBS affiliate down there and the NBC affiliate. And then there's design centers. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's like design centers for designers. And they have them in New York. They have them all over in the key markets and they have them in DC. So one day a talent scout went into the DC design center to one of the showrooms that I worked with. I would get fabric from. Mm-hmm. And they said, hey, we're shooting a show for this was at Fine Living at the time, for the Fine Living Network. And we were wondering if, you could refer us to any designers that are really bubbly, outgoing, would be good for TV.
Did you raise your hand?
Thanks, Jeff. Well, I didn't even know. Someone referred me to them.
Oh,
it was someone in the designs. I wasn't even there.
Oh, okay.
So I got called by this talent scout and was like, hey, we got your name from, Bonnie in the showroom, Scalamandri. And
so you weren't in the showroom. I got it.
Yeah. Okay. So they just referred. They're like, oh, we have the perfect person. She's really bubbly. So I auditioned, and that was my first. There was a New York team and a DC team. And I did a casting. There was a guy and a girl, and both. It was supposed to be, but this is me living in DC. So I wasn't on the New York team, but I did get selected to design for the DC team. It was me and another guy, and we went and shot down in Nashville. And the production company was out of Nashville, Tennessee. It was really cool, really fun. I was obsessed. Oh, wait. But first, can I tell you something?
Yeah. I'm listening.
The reason I really became obsessed with TV, though, this is where I got the bug, and then this story came after, is because I was on the Wheel of Fortune.
Oh, the Wheel of Fortune.
Fortune. I was a contestant.
How'd you do? I
solved 4 out of 6 puzzles. I won $6,400. I didn't go to the final round because I hit a bankrupt, and then the girl next to me rang up 3 letters at $5,000 a piece. But I had great interaction with Pat Sajak, and it was amazing. Right. It was so fun. While he was doing that,
we might have to get clips of this.
Yeah, I have it.
You got to send it to me.
I do. I have the episode.
All right.
It's wild. It was wild. Yeah. So that's what started.
Hold on. We might put it right here. Ready?
And we will ask Yvette to start.
Okay, thanks.
700.
N.
1 N. Spin the wheel or buy a vowel or.
I'd like to buy a vowel.
Okay.
An A. Okay. S.
Yes, 3 S's.
Oh my. R.
It's your turn.
I'm gonna spin. An L.
Yes, there are 2 L's. Now.
Don Adams as Maxwell Smart.
Yeah. Did it again. Nice work. You're doing fine. You're doing good. It's okay. No, that's right. That would disqualify you immediately. We'll hose her down and be back with more Wheel of Fortunes.
And we're back. What'd you guys think of that Wheel of Fortune clip? And continue.
Okay, thank you. But it was crazy. So that's where I auditioned. So that was an auditioning thing too.
Yeah.
The Wheel of Fortune is like a whole thing, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, so now fast forward. So I had gotten bit by that bug. I was doing my live spots, but I just I don't know. I got contacted by this talent scout. So I shot this pilot, and then I had a contract. We got paid for it, but just never aired because it just got really, the concept was really interesting, but it was based off of designing on catalogs and the merchandise. It was just becoming too convoluted. So then they were like, oh, we'll just take the designers out of it, have the homeowners do it. And then the whole show just but I got paid paid for the contract. It was great. And then through that, I got contacted by another casting director. Curb Appeal on HGTV was being shot at the West Coast, and then they were bringing it to the East Coast.
My wife and I used to watch that.
You did?
I remember that show. Yep.
It was so fun.
That's funny.
Yeah, thanks. And then that opened doors for me, and then I got an agent, and then it opened doors for me doing I did 2 specials for HGTV, and I was just out there, and then I was doing some more live spots, and then I did Restaurant Impossible with Robert Irvine, so I did 2 episodes of that. That was really fun, and then that led to I did a show for a DIY network, which is now Magnolia. I did 2 series on that called That's So 80s, That's So 90s. So that was really fun. That was with Joey Lawrence, and it was about talking about the trends during the inflatable furniture, the different all the wild stuff of that time. So that was really fun.
I remember that furniture.
Right?
Yeah, so that sounds fun. That sounds really fun.
Thank you.
So are you still going to try to get back into that, or you're kind of just focused on your business right now?
No, so I definitely want to get back into that. That's what I'm working on. So I have a team. We're doing a whole rebrand. I want to get back to my vision from when I was 13 of, branding and being a house. Because what happened was, and then I moved back to New York. I was in DC. I had my design house there. And then I moved back to New York. And then COVID hit. And, so it's just been a series of things. And I had a co-working space in New York City. I had one in DC. And then COVID hit. So now my office, so I had to move out of those offices. And so now I'm just kind of regrouping, refocusing. And then through the through the media person, the hosting. So I also, then that went to other hosting gigs. So I've hosted golf tournaments, I've hosted for brands, like talking at different facilities so it's just really, it's so fun doing on camera stuff and doing some UGC stuff. And then it went into acting, which I'm obsessed with. So I love the acting, but the acting came by way of hosting too.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely seems like it's got the nerves out. You don't seem nervous on camera at all. Like when we were acting in those scenes together, you didn't seem nervous at all. Like,
thank you.
Well, usually when most people starting out, like just acting, they got a lot of nerves. They got like, and they'll mess up. It's like you seem so like calm and collected with it, and it's probably because of all the hosting you've done. It's like it prepared you to just be fine, just be comfortable, and that is like half the battle is just relaxing.
Yeah,
in front of camera, it's just relax and just say the words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you,
awesome.
Jeff. That's such a big compliment
cool.
coming from you because you're
Yeah.
such a talented actor. So thank you very much. No, you are. You're amazing. And I'm not just saying that because I'm in your show, but you are. You're very talented and you're very believable and you're very like.
I paid her to say that. No, I'm just kidding. So
commercial break.
So do you prefer designing, hosting, or acting? Like, what do you like the most?
I have to be careful how I answer this because designing has given me an incredible business, an incredible life, an incredible business. I've had amazing experiences, wonderful clients. I started in residential, and then in 2010, we won the bid to do Buddha Bar DC, which Buddha Bar is an international concept out of Paris. So it opened a ton of doors for me commercially. So I thank God every day. I'm really, really grateful. Like, I just want to be, absolutely clear that I love my clients. I've worked with the most incredible people, and I love design. I do. I love it.
Now that that's out of the way, what do you love to do the most?
To make a long answer longer, Yvette. I know.
I'm joking.
No, I know, but I have to say that because
you got to give props to the people. I get it. Like,
I do. So, I love. Okay, I love. It's hard because okay, how about this? And then I know people say, I love being on camera, not because I like to watch myself. It's a very comfortable space for me. I like the energy. I love the production. I love the camera. I love what the crew does. I love craft services. I love everyone. I love everyone coming together and everyone plays a role. I always say in my business, it takes a village, and that's true in everything. Right? Because you could have the best idea in the world, but if it's not executed, whatever it is, whether it's a film, movie, design, if you don't have the right people helping you implement it and execute it, you have nothing. You have 100%. Nothing, right? So I just love the on-camera part. So I love the hosting. And the way I got into acting is because a casting director was helping me. She was pitching me. We were trying to develop a show together, basically. She was trying to pitch something, and then COVID hit, and the rest we all know. But at the time that was happening, she said to me, you should take an acting class because, you're always honing your craft, right? You always want to get better. And acting, especially an improv class, it's because hosting, I play me. Hosting, I'm Yvette, right? Yeah. Acting, I play somebody else. So it's very easy for me to be me because I'm me, right? But she's saying it's just thinking quick on the fly, asking the right questions. You never want to have silence, right? When you're interviewing somebody, you never want, right? So anyway, that's what happened. COVID hit. So then I didn't want to take in Zoom acting classes for the first time doing it. You know what I mean? Like, maybe now it's okay. But when I was first starting acting, I'm like, I need to see how this makes me feel being in person. Yeah. So I waited until after COVID, and then that's where I started taking acting. And then I became obsessed.
Yeah.
I love it.
I know. It's so weird how you get hooked. Damn acting.
Right? How did you get into acting? If you don't mind me asking.
Oh man, I was always kind of like, I don't know, just like into it. Even when I was a kid, it's weird. I don't think I've ever told anyone this, but when we were, my brothers and I, when we were kids, we used to put on like shows, like in our house, like for our parents, like just like when our parents were together, we were really young when our parents were together, but just like, when we were kids, just putting on shows and like, I was in church plays. I played Joseph in like the nativity
Oh,
scene once, and I don't know.
oh,
I still remember lines from a play I was in second grade. It's so weird. It's so weird. So I've always
I love
kind of
it.
liked it, and I don't know if it was like the cartoons I was watching growing up because I can also draw well. I don't know. I was drawing when I got to college. I wasn't in like the theater club or anything like that in high school. I was more of a jock.
Right.
But I was also like really into art and I could draw really well.
That's
But
awesome.
when once I graduated high school, I was like, I know what I want to do. I want to do anything I can to get in to be an artist. Whether it's going through the military, getting like GI loans or whatever. I think that's what it's called, GI loans. Yeah, GI loans, whatever it's called. But somehow I'm gonna get in and pay for it, and I ended up find another route to get to
Oh,
college. But I always wanted to be an
yes, I
artist.
do.
And when I was in I forget where I was. I think I was working at Home Depot in Brandywine, Delaware, and I saw this commercial for lugs. Remember the lugs, like the boot? So there was a lugs commercial, and it had this song Pharaoh Monk. Simon Says to it. It's like put your hands up. But anyway,
That's
I saw
awesome.
that and I was like, I want to do that because it was like this whole 3D animation of this character. I love drawing characters, and it like that's when I was like, I want to do that. And I promised myself I would go to school. I was like, I'm done with Home
Mhm.
Depot. I want to like this is what I want to do. So I had like tunnel vision. I was like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. And when I was in the art institute, I was like animating the character stuff, and I was just like, I think I want to be an actor because I love characters so much. I love the story so much.
I
I didn't
know.
necessarily love the process of drawing and like animating. I just love the characters and the stories. So that's how I was like, when I get out of here, I'm gonna be an actor.
That's
Little did
awesome,
I
Jeff.
know
What
how
a cool
hard
story,
that
though.
shit was. It's extremely difficult. So, I found all that out later once I went to like neighborhood playhouse but anyway, that's how I kind of got into it. Like short version of how I got into acting. Yeah. Um so yeah, I'm actually motivated by people like you though. So, like underdogs. You're a woman, you're a business owner, you're your own boss, like you're a host, you're an actress, you're doing all these things. Um, but I'm sure you've overcome some adversity to get where you are. So I'm curious, would you be able to share like a underdog story, like how you got to where you are?
Yeah, I mean, I went through a very difficult period. First of all, I mean, opening when I did, I think was hard. Opening during the worst time in American history, that was definitely not
Yeah.
great. But in some strange way, it was really it worked for my business because of that was at the time where everyone was just their home was their sanctuary and that was their safe spot. So people were really focused on wanting to make their
Yeah.
home comfortable and safe and the place that no one could touch them there. And so I think that actually wound up working out, helping my business along during such a difficult time. And then
Yeah.
I went through some really difficult things. I went through a really bad divorce, um, which I basically lost everything and had to rebuild myself. And what I focused on was my business.
Yeah.
My business is what saved me, and just diving in, like you said, just staying focused, and like this is what I'm going to do, and that helped me overcome a lot of pain and a lot of financial difficulties that I was left in, unfortunately. So, but I overcame it, and then I was in a really serious car accident in 2011 where I should literally not be alive. I'm not even there. No one who would make who would make
Mm.
light of that, but I'm not. Some people are like, oh my god, I should be. No, like I actually should have been dead. So I really believe that God saved my life, and it's a miracle that I came out of that. So again, just owning your own business and going through something like that, you have to, you just have to stay focused. And I wasn't able to work for a little bit, but I've always been surrounded by amazing people. I have the best support system in my life, and I'm so thankful and grateful to my friends and my family who have really, I'm an only child, so I don't have any siblings, but my parents are amazing and wonderful and very, very supportive of
That's
me.
awesome.
And my friends, just they're like a lifeline to me. So, and I thank God because he definitely saved my life. So, those are some of my challenges that were really, really hard. And then you just have the economy, where things crash and things, you just overcoming when the bank, like, my business has gone through a lot, but I've pulled through because you just can't. I always believe that failure is not an option. I always believe that you just have to pivot and reinvent yourself and just kind of, work with what is and make that happen.
Yeah. Wow. So this car accident, what can you um can you talk a little bit more
Sure.
about what happened with that?
Yeah.
What happened as far as where it
Yeah, it was
was
in
and
DC, and it was eight
Mm,
o'clock in the morning, and I was driving to work, and I remember to like my design house because I have my own business, right? So I was driving, and I was like, I was. This is just what I remember because I actually I was I woke up as a trauma patient, so I was blacked out from like 8 in the morning
mm,
till 2 p.m. But so what I remember is I was just driving on 395, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna just run an hour. Like I was gonna go to like Target or something, because Target opened at like 8:30. You know what I mean? It was like, so I was like, oh, I'm just gonna run to Target and get some stuff. And I was in my SUV,
right.
and all I remember, I was going 60 miles an hour, and all I remember is what felt like I went up on a curb, and then I see like a concrete divider, and apparently what happened was someone ran me off the road, and I hit the concrete divider head on at 60 miles an hour. My car flipped over.
Mm,
And I like held up traffic forever. They were like cutting my clothes off of me. They thought it was a really bad. My car was completely wrecked and totaled. And I woke up as a trauma patient
jeez.
at 2 p.m. And and I remember literally waking up there, and the doctor looked at me and he said, Miss Irene, your car, your seatbelt, and your airbag saved your life. And I was like,
Wow.
and the doctor literally said to me on more than one occasion, he said, I don't know how you survived this. He's like, someone was looking out for you because you should be dead in a car accident like this. And it was just really, yeah, it was really bad. Really, really bad. And Jeff, it was wild because like,
Man.
um, so the airbag came out, right, and I hit it at full impact. So I had just had LASIK eye surgery 2 weeks before. So I don't know if you ever had that or familiar, but
Okay.
when you get that done, the doctor had
No.
said to me, like, don't be in a crowd, make sure no one hits your eyes. Like, you have to be very, very careful for a month.
Ooh.
So I was and I design clubs. So I'm like I had to be very careful if I was at a meeting, because owners meet late at clubs. And I was like, I had to be very careful because I didn't want anything if you get pushed. So the airbag came out. I hit head on. I should have had like nerve damage. I should have been blind. Nothing. My vision was 2015. Actually, I had a small fracture here that healed on its own. I literally thought that someone had put rocks on my chest. Like I felt like I was in so much pain. They did 2 full body scans on me because
Jeez, man.
they couldn't understand the pain. There was nothing broken. I had a slight fracture, but it healed internally. Like I had a big bruise. I had my face. I looked like a tray. I looked like Beetlejuice. It was horrifying. Because I was so bruised and just terrible. I really did. And I had like a little
My
scar here,
God. That's
a little
terrible.
scar here. Yeah. But I overcame it, and it's, yeah.
You damn
So
sure did.
thanks. It was really
Wow.
tough, but
Yeah, I feel like God has plans for all of us. And if it's not our time, he saves
I
us.
believe that 1,000% because
Wow.
I remember like, actually it was right around, because this happened, um, December 15th in 2011. So it was, my birthday is the 23rd. But yeah, so
Oh
it
wow.
was, and it was a big birthday. It was like a milestone birthday, and it was just crazy, right? And I remember while I was like healing, I was watching TV after I got out of the hospital, and literally like there was like almost an identical accident that had happened right? And 2 out of 3 people, like with another car, like I'm saying, I was watching on TV and it was someone that hit a brick. It was like not on the highway, but they hit head first 60 miles an hour into a brick wall. It was like in an SUV. It was 3 women, and 2 of them died. And the other one was like, I don't know if she ever lived. But what I'm trying to say is like, I was watching that, like saying, oh my God, like, yeah. But that's why I'm a big advocate if like of the car that saved if you don't mind me saying, because I always feel like I owe them, BMW, it saved my life. That's the car that saved my life. The car saved my life. The body shop, my father had to go get my car because it was completely totaled. And the guy said, I've never seen such a bad accident. Like, I don't know how your daughter survived this. And when you saw the inside of my car, it was so intact. The engine, everything went right up to, I mean, it was crazy. But the inside of the car is like a pod. Okay. You could see my blood. You could see the airbags. It was but that's what protected me. That's what saved my life. Sorry. I feel like not to be sad, but you asked.
No. Look, this is what this podcast is about. It's about like these amazing stories. This is why I'm doing this. Is there's so many people out there that have stories like this, and it just blows me away. Like what people can overcome.
Thank you, Jeff. That means a lot. Thank you.
It's a tough time. It's so inspirational to me, and it motivates me to work harder and do better, because we're only here for a certain amount of time that God gives us, and who knows when our ticket will be punched.
Because tomorrow's never promised. You just never. It could change. Like my whole life could have, like, literally my life did change forever. Like, I mean, it was. But what I'm saying is, like, I could have been paralyzed. I could have been blind. I could have. There's so many things that it was literally, it was a miracle.
It's a miracle.
It literally was a miracle.
It's a miracle.
Yeah. So
you're alive. Wow. Thank you for sharing that story with me.
You're welcome.
And everyone. I mean, that's people are going to see this and be like, "Oh my God, that's insane." Life is just a gift. We get so sidetracked with the bullshit every single day. And then and then it's stuff like that happens, and you're like, "Oh, I couldn't, I might not be here. Like, I don't have to be here. Like, this is a gift." Like, and we forget about it unless our life flashes before our eyes, and then we're like, "Holy shit, I could have died. I would have been gone. My parents, would have been missing me, my children, whoever, and life would have went on." So you really gotta really think about that every day, and that's what I do. And it helps me live a little bit better.
And I think sometimes, even me just telling the story now, I have to get back to, because I remember, which is so weird. Like, I remember when that happened, and I was like I was so laid up for so long, and I was just a mess. And my face, like I told you, it was just, you wouldn't even recognize me. And it was a lot of healing. And I told you I'm impatient, right? And I, like, traffic would make me crazy, and it still does. I mean, we're human, right? But I'm just saying, I remember when I was finally able to drive again and go back out and, into the world, right? And I remember going to the post office, because the post office is like always a pet peeve of mine, because it's like, they're so slow, And I was like, oh my God, can we hurry it up, And I remember I had to go to the post office, and I waited. Like, I was waiting in line. It was like extra long. And I remember going up there, and the lady was like stamping my thing. It was like whatever I was sending. And she was like, I'm so sorry for the wait. I'm so sorry, how long this took, which was shocking because they never apologized. And I said, are you kidding me? Like, I love that I waited. Like, I love that I can wait. You know what I mean? Like sitting in traffic, like when when I would be taken to like, I love that I was able to stay alive to actually appreciate sitting in traffic, if that makes sense. It's so weird, like how, because you know what I mean? Like, if you, it's just a totally different perspective, like of how, like, I'm fortunate enough that I can sit in traffic and that I'm not dead, like I'm fortunate enough that I'm not, that I can still drive. Like, it just changes you. It changes you. It does.
I totally agree with that. Same thing happened to me. I had some near-death experiences before, and
oh my!
Yeah, I had a bunch of them.
Okay.
We won't go into that right now, but I've definitely had them. I do remember one. And I don't talk about this much, but I just flashed into my head. It's the weirdest thing. I just thought of this. When I was a kid, I went down to Virginia to visit my cousins, and they were swimming or rafting in this river
Oh,
called the
okay.
Rockfish River. And for some reason, I got off my inner tube, and they were like, I was like I found myself alone, and I was wearing sneakers, like Nike sneakers with the Velcro strap across the top. And for some reason, my cousins were like down the river a little bit further, and I was by myself at this one point, and I just jumped off to like go under because I was so hot. And for some reason, like I don't know if it was like a whirlpool or I don't know what it was, but it pulled
Oh
the
my
river pulled me
God.
under, and my shoes were so wet and heavy that I couldn't swim. So I was like pulling over, and I felt myself like drowning, like,
Oh my
like I felt
God.
myself swallowing water. And I don't know what gave me the power, but I reached down and just took my shoes off, and I was able to like kick up to the surface. I was like, I climbed on this rock. I was like,
Oh my God.
I was like catching my breath and stuff. I almost drowned to
Oh my
death. I was like,
God.
holy shit.
Oh my
And
God.
I was
Oh my
13.
God.
I was
And you were
13
by
years old.
yourself,
But
right? You said you were by.
stuff like that is, yeah, because we were all like teenagers. Like so, like my cousin was like maybe 2 years older than me. So he was like, they were like a little bit older than me. My other cousins, they were like down further, and I was trying to keep up with them. But anyway, yeah, like stuff like that has happened to me in my life like a bunch of times, like where I've
Oh
almost
my
like
God,
just
Jeff.
died. And yeah, it's been a weird journey.
That was God that lifted you, that gave you the strength. You know what I mean? Like, I mean that, or however you believe. But I know, like, we've talked about this. But
Yeah, yeah. I do believe in God, yeah.
yeah, it's
Who
just
knows what it was?
something gave you that inner strength, that courage to like. It's just. Well, thank God.
Yeah. I have I have so many stories. You have no idea. It's like I don't want to bore you with them. This time is about you, Yvette. That's your story is super
Thank you.
inspiring. I just want to say thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
That's
Thank you.
crazy. And I'm glad you're still here with us, and I'm glad that you healed, you have your vision, you have your health, and you're good to
Thank
go.
God. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. I'm still crazy. And I'm still impatient. I'm trying though. Now I just reminded myself I got to stop that. So
That's okay. It's all good. So yeah, let's move on to
sure.
the end of this podcast. I
Okay.
like to play a game. It's called the Quick Questions game.
Okay.
Have you ever seen Inside the Actor Studio? James Lipton. Have you seen that show before?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, so he does like a 10-question kind of rapid fire thing, just for fun. You know what I mean? So I'll ask you a series of questions. There's 10 of them, and just answer them as best you can.
Okay.
And if you want to elaborate a little bit, that's fine too.
Okay.
All right, ready?
Ready.
What's your favorite film?
The Godfather.
What's your favorite, or who's your favorite actor or actress?
Al Pacino.
Who's your favorite music artist or band?
Duran Duran.
Duran Duran? All right. I like 80s
and George
music.
Michael. And George Michael. They were a tie. But Duran Duran, I was obsessed. I was marrying Simon Le Bon, I thought. Obviously, that didn't work out so well, but.
I love it.
And I did meet them, and it was so fun.
Oh, yeah?
We partied together in Atlantic City. It was really cool. Really fun.
Oh, wow.
It was
That's cool.
really,
That's cool.
Yeah, it was random. Fun fact, but it's cute.
Cool.
Yeah.
What's your favorite sound? Polly? No. My dog, Polly?
Polly breathing. My favorite.
That's cute.
Yeah, it is. So I do love
Polly
to
breathing.
listen to. I do. I do, because I listen to him at night when he's sleeping, and I'm like, oh my God, listen to him. My favorite, my favorite sound. That's such an. Oh, I know. What? The ocean, water.
Okay. Nice. What's your favorite smell? Don't say Polly. That's right.
Polly's all the answer. Well, who's my favorite actor? Pauly, of course.
Hey, there you go. See, how dare you say Al Pacino?
I'm like, what? Pauly, you didn't hear that, right? My favorite smell is the one hotel.
The one hotel. Which one? No,
It's
it's called the one.
I think it's the one in Miami is my favorite hotel because I just love the vibe and the design, and I love the smell, the scent. So I think they probably, I don't know if they use all the same scent in all of them, but I actually have a diffuser in my house. They must, because I have a diffuser in my house that has the one hotel scent.
Interesting. All right.
So that when you walk in, it feels like I'm on vacation.
Speaking of that, nice segue. That.
I didn't even know.
Where's your favorite place to vacation?
Italy.
Italy. Oh, nice. What part?
Oh, that's a tough one because I love so much of Italy. I love so much. I love Rome, but I love Santa Margherita.
Okay.
Which is 4 miles below. Where's it kilometers? It's miles. It's miles. Below Portofino.
Gotcha. Okay. I've never been to Europe. I gotta go. My wife
Oh
keeps
my
telling
God,
me
you
you
have
better
to
go.
go.
Yeah,
You have to go.
I need to see the United States first, where I'm from. You know.
Good
Here's
point.
a Jersey. Here's like a kind of a Jersey, New York question for you. What's your favorite curse word?
What do you think it is?
I don't know. Why don't you tell us, Yvette?
Of course, it's the F word because
Okay.
it's an adjective, it's an adverb, it's descriptive, it's a noun.
Yeah. It's a very popular one. Let me say
Yes.
on this podcast. Everyone loves that word for that question. It's all good.
Yeah. It's a good
Who
word.
do you look up to?
I look up to God, and I look up to my parents. I've always put God first and then my parents because I believe that um, they're very balanced. So I won't go into a long thing about this, but I will just say
Okay.
my father I was raised very strict. My father was very strict. I had a very strict upbringing. He believed in tough love in a good way. You know what I mean? My father
Yeah.
was like, he was
Discipline.
just
Discipline.
disciplined. Yeah.
Yeah.
And my mom is just really sweet, and and just so they're just like an interesting. My dad is nice, and don't get me wrong, but it's just like my dad was the tough one.
Yeah. That's great.
My mom is just more sweet and more quiet and more shy. My dad is, so it's just like they're an interesting combo. So I look up to them because if it wasn't for them, I don't believe I would have the morals and the values and the hard work ethic that I have that was instilled in me from the time I was a young kid.
Beautiful. Who's someone you would like to say thank you to? Maybe your parents. I don't know. Here's your opportunity, player.
Oh my gosh. Who would I like to say thank you to? I mean, of course I thank my parents.
Thanks, Mom and Dad.
I think I would like to thank everyone that's given me opportunities.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't for opportunities, I wouldn't be where I am. If people didn't believe in me and give me a chance, including my clients, I feel very fortunate that they trust me with their homes and their spaces and their
Yeah.
money, so.
Yeah, it's crazy that question because there's so many people that help you along the way. It's hard to thank everyone. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, it is. And, it's like I feel like one of my first bosses, like she was like a mentor to me. Like I love her because I feel like she really taught me a lot. I think there are a lot of people to thank.
Yeah.
A blanket thank you to everyone.
There you go. All right. So last question.
Yes.
When you take your last breath
Yes.
and you arrive at the pearly white gates in heaven, what would you like to hear God say to you?
I've been waiting for you.
Perfect. Yvette, thank you so much for being here, sharing your story with us and entertaining us and making us sad and making us happy. I mean, it was a roller coaster, and I think this was a great podcast episode. So thank you so much for being here.
Oh, Jeff, thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me on. It's always a pleasure. You're so easy to talk to. I know you're doing amazing things, and you're always
Thank
trying
you.
to help people and bring light to different situations and stories, which means a lot. And keep
Absolutely.
doing all the magical things that you're doing, because you are killing it and you're awesome. Thank you so much.
Right back at you.
I receive it.
Where's the best place for people to follow you or find you or check you out?
They can find me. Well, I'm also going to be I have my website, YvetteIrene.com, which is going to be part of this rebranding. I'm redoing that. And on Instagram, Yvette Irene. That's Yvette Irene.
All right.
And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for now.
All right.
Stay tuned though. I'll be on more spots.
That's right. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been an Art and Underdogs episode. See you next time.